Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 Streaming. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. First Alert, bring the jackets with you this morning. You do not want to forget that. Yeah. It's starting to get cold out.
And make sure you remember where you put it, because not only this morning, you are going to need it basically the rest of the week when you wake up, because we're in the 40s now, but wind chills are in the 30s. When you factor in the breeze, it's going to be a big story all day. So take that jacket with you in the what to wear forecast. 49 right now, holding up a little bit in some spots, but you can see that's one of the warmer numbers. We got a lot of mid 40s showing up around the city. Otherwise, 48 in Underwood, 48 in Trainer right now. And even you get outside the city, you look at some places getting close to 40. So the air's got a bite to it this morning, plus the wind isn't helping, and look at what's happening with our wind chills. Several of these are down in the 30s this morning, so you will notice this as you step out this morning. The air is chilly, and it's only going to get worse over the next couple of days. Winds will be a story today, like I mentioned. The latest gust 26 miles per hour in Omaha, but some stronger 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts are sweeping in from the northwest. Those move in and cause our wind gusts to really spike here, especially after 9 o'clock. You can see gusts up near 45 miles per hour for several hours right there in the middle of the day. Hopefully a little bit of reprieve later on in the afternoon as we get closer to sunset. So we have 40s to start, turning into 50s eventually. By about 10 o'clock, we should be near 50 degrees, and then we're up into the low 50s by noon. Whatever clouds can drop in from the north should quickly recede to the east and out of here. High today of 59. That would be the coolest so far this season. So you're going to notice the chilly air without the wind. Then you throw in the wind, and that doesn't help matters much. So might want the coat a good chunk of the day today. By 7 o'clock, we're down near 50, and then overnight tonight. Notice by 10, we're down in the 40s. Now, when we talk about the low temperature, that happens early in the morning, right around sunrise. Right now is typically the coldest part of the day. Well, that's going to be the case tomorrow morning, and why we've made it a First Alert 6 weather day. Notice where the temperatures are falling off by early Wednesday. We have a lot of 30s to start off the day tomorrow. Mid-30s, plenty cold enough to get a frost, and not a freeze, but a frost. So this is not anything that impacts pipes or garden hoses, but a First Alert 6 weather day for the plants, the gardens, anything you want to save. Tonight's the night to prep for that, and might want to keep it covered all the way into probably Thursday afternoon the way it looks, just to be safe. Because if you save things tonight, you run the risk of getting close to that again tomorrow morning, or I should say Thursday morning. So this is the Friday morning low temperature of 35 tomorrow morning, 37 on Thursday, and then we shouldn't have to worry about it through the weekend. So a couple of nights, we got to pay attention to things. We go to 65 for the high on Wednesday, 65 on Thursday. Again, we just made Wednesday the First Alert 6 weather day because it's likely to be the coldest, and it's the first widespread frost that we'll have in the air.
That makes sense. All right, so what about the Husker game? How's that looking?
Well,
thank goodness we're back at home.
Yeah, I was going to say, things are trending up. You saw the overnight lows going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And afternoon highs are going to do that as well. Not too bad, but clouds are probably going to be the biggest issue getting in the way with Northwestern coming to town. NU versus NU, I guess, for this one. Right around 60 degrees at kickoff, and then slowly warming. A little bit of a breeze, but I think the clouds probably tough to shake. And that'll be a theme over the weekend. They increase Friday as we look at the Almost Friday forecast, and likely stick around all weekend. Wind and some shower potential, a little more likely on Sunday as well. Now, you see the small chance of a shower there on Saturday, probably very early in the morning. Probably not a big deal, but something we'll keep an eye on nonetheless. And you can look at that 10-day forecast here and how by the middle of next week, we start to see a couple of windy days with some rain chances early next week. The coolest days right there, Wednesday and Thursday. Later on today, we're going to have Halloween on that 10-day forecast showing up. And I think by then temperatures start to trend up. So those worried about a chilly Halloween, right now, if I had to pick, I think our high is going to be close to 60 degrees.
That's not bad.
So I think it should work out okay. Just got to hope it holds.
Yeah, we'll do this for you. All right, in the meantime, let's get an update on traffic. Really surprising topic here. It's 80.
Whoa, it's slow on I-80.
It's slow on I-80.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot lately, but it's slower than usual
Oh.
this morning. We're getting backups that are extending into the 680 interchange, and that's that kind of tipping point I talk about when we see this construction of where I get a little concerned, because then things could start to domino effect off of that. So there's what it looks like in that very familiar camera shot that we've shown you on NDOT as you're making your way toward L and Q and eventually to Giles, where things have all kinds of brake lights. But when we look at the map, this is where you're going to be looking at things particularly slow all the way back through that interchange. So that's where I'm talking about where we're getting that delay to get a little bit bigger than usual. Now, if you're tired of me talking about this, believe me, getting kind of tired talking about it too. I had talked to NDOT recently, kind of get an update on the timeline on this, and we are on schedule to have this wrapped up, at least at that point, at the end of the month, which is right on the time that it was supposed to. So hopefully this will be going away soon, but tell you it's not going away this morning. It's going to be an ongoing issue, so be ready for that. A couple other spots that have been slow. I was noticing some delays northbound at 204th around Q. That has improved, so good news there. And then also 144th is another construction zone we've been talking about with north and southbound lane restrictions between Dodge and Pacific. Both directions showing quite slow, and this is what it looks like on our camera at 144th and Dodge pointed off to the south, and you can see how both directions are showing quite the delays at this point. You need to stay right in both directions with those leftbound lanes being in the construction zone. So those are the spots with the biggest slowdowns right now. We've got a couple of other areas that are at least a little bit slow, but those are the ones that are having the biggest impact out the door, and we'll keep an eye out for any other issues that may pop up. We actually started off the morning with a crash on 480, so it was a really busy start, and then things kind of slowed down. We're starting to ramp up again.
Picking back up again. All right, Jarrett, thank you. Happening today, the Omaha City Council will vote on a homelessness ordinance. If passed, the proposed ordinance would outlaw homeless encampments on public property. Mayor Ewing says he opposes criminalizing homelessness. An updated proposal lays out the steps and actions the city will take once an encampment is found before fines and jail time would occur. Well, new details in the case of Omaha spree killer Nico Jenkins. He appeared in court virtually as his attorneys argued for him to get a new mental evaluation.
His team believes the results of said evaluation will prove that Jenkins should not be eligible for the death penalty. The Douglas County judge said he would review the cases before making that decision. And back in March, we broke that Jenkins wrote a letter asking the appeals to stop so he could be put to death. Now, a month later, he told the court he changed his mind. Last month, his attorneys started the process of asking for another evaluation. This morning, a rather strange incident led a flight leaving from Epley to make an emergency landing just 18 minutes after taking off. The flight going to LA turned around almost immediately after taking off. The pilot could not communicate with the flight attendants and heard somebody outside the door. Turns out the interphone system on the plane failed, and it was the flight crew knocking on the door.
All right, here at the safety desk with our Maria Cade. Maria has an update recall to update us about, and it's a very familiar one. It sounds like
very familiar. You want to take another close look inside your freezer because more shrimp is unfortunately being recalled. Absolutely. And this recall is for the frozen raw shrimp from Aquastar Corp. And the shrimp in question was sold under various brand names, all of which you can find them up on the FDA's website. So the FDA says this seafood might be contaminated with cesium-137. That's that same radioactive chemical we've been talking about with other types of shrimp too. So if you have this shrimp, it was sold at Baker's, Walmart, throw it out, or you can bring it back and get a full refund.
All right, we appreciate these updates. Yeah. All right, Maria at the safety desk, thank you, and we're back after the short break.
All right, welcome back. Time now 7:14 on this Tuesday morning. Nice shot outside overlooking the Midtown Crossing and the downtown area. Grab the jacket, probably turn on the furnace at this point. You said your wife already had to do that back at home because it is chilly, folks. The first floor also to a frost heading into tomorrow.
Yeah, we were just texting. Yeah, and she turned it on. So it got cold overnight, and we're going to get even colder tonight into tomorrow morning, prompting the first Alert 6 weather day and the widespread frost potential. 35 degrees. That's where we're going to be by tomorrow morning. So prep for this tonight. Cover the plants, bring them in. Pick any last few things out of the garden you need. I got a few tomatoes I'll probably go pick prior to this, and by tomorrow morning we'll be down in the mid-30s, and they should be pretty widespread. Now this is a forecast low for tomorrow morning across the entire viewing area. You can see you get south of I-80, you're probably mid-30s. You go north of I-80, you got a little better chance of getting into the lower 30s. So again, this does not impact pipes. Even if we got down to near 30, it wouldn't be cold enough long enough to freeze up anything. This is just mostly for the plants that are outside on a chilly morning that can't handle this sort of thing. So you can see right now, look at where our wind chills are. 40s and 30s to start off this morning. So you want the coat this morning, keep it around for tomorrow morning. Wind speeds right now, 10 to 20 miles per hour sustained. But the gusts keep spiking up near 30, and that's going to be the case for the rest of the drive to work and school. Then once the kids are at school, we're talking 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts today. So pretty annoying for the kids out at recess. A lot of 40s on the map to start off this morning, inside and outside the metro. But I showed you the wind chills are a little colder. Actual air temperatures down to 41 in Columbus right now. So from this point, we will start our climb, go to 59 with abundant sunshine all day today. We're going to need it because the temperature and the wind aren't really going to help us out a ton. And if you cover things up tonight for the frost and the frost on the way tomorrow morning, might as well just keep it covered through Thursday morning just in case, because those temperatures do dip down into the 30s for a little bit and then start to climb beyond. So you can see where the high temperatures go. They're not much of an issue through the rest of the week and into the weekend. 50s and 60s, we can handle that. But it does look like it's going to be a little cool for game day this weekend, whether you're in Lincoln, Ames, or Iowa City. Likely 50s around kickoff, trying to warm during each game, but quite a few clouds in the way for each game as well. Small chance of a shower in Iowa City. So here's a look a little closer to home. 65 Thursday, 59 on Friday, and then some small rain chances Friday afternoon through about Saturday morning. Probably not a big deal, but it is something to watch for to round out the week, the way things are shaking out right now. Again, just a first Alert 6 weather day for Wednesday morning, because that's going to be the first widespread freeze in the area.
All right, can we talk a little bit more about Halloween so people can start, planning those costumes?
Yeah, so I was worried about a storm system trying to impact things, so I can show you what it looks like on the 10-day forecast. You do have some rain potential Sunday into Monday, maybe lingering into early Tuesday next week. It's going to be windy to start off next week, but right now I still think the two coldest days are probably Wednesday and Thursday next week, with Friday, just beyond the 10-day forecast, being Halloween. And now I think things are looking better and better to maybe rebound a little bit heading into that following weekend. I want to say next weekend, but again, it's 2 weekends away. You can see here's the system I'm watching. There's Monday into Tuesday. It's spinning off to the east. It was trying to linger a little bit more on models over the last 24 hours, but starting to trend now farther east. There's the clearing for Wednesday. Not too bad Thursday, and I think we're going to be sandwiched in between storm systems for this upcoming Halloween. The way things are looking right now. So pay attention to that forecast as we get a little closer. Again, it'll be on the 10-day forecast later on this afternoon as Jade's putting that together. So keep an eye on that, and we'll keep you right there in the know. First place to get it on the 10-day.
Rusty, thanks. In the meantime, let's get another update on traffic, this time talking about construction impacts.
Yeah, it's a different spot that we're at, but we're on I-80 again. So we're keeping some familiarity factor. This is as you're going eastbound, trying to get into that area around Giles. But notice how you have the merging traffic coming off of the 144th ramp and the traffic that's also merging lanes. Hopefully, okay, I thought my camera was going to go away. It's still there, but things are really checking up as you get into the distance. That's right where you get that lane restriction as you're going eastbound toward Giles. And that's going to cause some backups as we continue to add drivers into that area. Be ready for that as you go eastbound. Of course, westbound, we've got all kinds of backups already. 144th is also slow in this area, both directions, right near I-80. So there's the delays I was referencing. Back to the 680 interchange. We are looking at construction really being a factor for where we're seeing our problems so far this morning. One of the only spots that isn't construction related is on 204th around Q, where we have the delays showing back up. They had gone away, now they're in place once again all the way back to Harrison. So watch for that. 144th, sluggish both directions between Dodge and Pacific. So all of those areas are our biggest problems where we are seeing delays. JFK looking a little bit better as you go northbound. We do have this spot on 370 that's around 36th to 48th westbound. Some delays that are showing up at this point. And Blair High trying to join the party around 680 as you go eastbound. Nothing major there yet, but I'll be keeping an eye on that to see if those delays continue to build. But you can see we've got some spots that are seeing some problems, so plan accordingly. If any of the places that I mentioned are along your route, may need a little extra time.
All right, Jared, thank you. A new reality meantime for some families in our community. Changes to SNAP eligibility means some will lose their benefits altogether.
That's right. New federal guidelines remove SNAP eligibility for refugees and those granted asylum. Amanda Hall is the executive director of the Orwell Alliance. The group has helped newly arrived Ukrainian families with transportation, employment, and housing. She fears every family in this community will be impacted by these changes.
So I have to think about the broader implications. If people are not able to buy food and they have to make a choice between buying groceries or paying rent, what happens to the local businesses, local landlords? There's an apartment complex here in Elkhorn that rents to 60 Ukrainian families. What happens if those families aren't able to pay their rent? What happens to that business owner?
Other changes include expanded work requirements for able-bodied adults. Under the new requirements, people between 18 and 64 years old will either have to work, train, or volunteer at least 20 hours per week. We're back after this.
Well, Hindu and South Asian communities across the country and around the world are celebrating Diwali, the Festival of Lights.
Diwali celebrations are starting for more than 1 billion people, including Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs. Diwali holds religious significance, marking the triumph of light over darkness, but it's also a cultural festival observed by people regardless of faith. Diwali lasts 5 days. It also marks the beginning of the new year in the Hindu calendar. Also happening today, it's National Apple Day.
Apples have been around for millions of years, and some historians believe that ancient Romans cultivated the sour fruits, actually turned them into sweeter ones that we know better today. Well, today there are more than 7,000 varieties worldwide. Popular examples: Granny Smith apple, Red Delicious, Honeycrisp. What are you guys' favorite apples or apple flavored things?
Pie.
I was going to say that.
Apple cider.
All right.
Yes. I like the apple butter. Apple
butter's
wine
good.
is delicious.
Yeah, a lot of times people talk about how much they like pumpkin spice. I like the apple cinnamon flavor
Oh,
for
yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've heard that that's actually like the slept on one. People
Yeah.
are like, no, I'm an apple person.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. We love apples.
All right. Have some apples. Oh, and I like with the caramel apples.
Yeah.
A good caramel apple, too.
That's true.
All right, now we're hungry. We're always hungry. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on Streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Hartley. Let's get a look at traffic. Going to be a very slow morning for some folks, Jarrett.
The Dodge eastbound has almost ground to a halt around 156, and you can see that the delays extend all the way from the horizon into the end of the view, and all these vehicles trying to merge into. It's kind of becoming a mess here. It's from about 144th back past 168th where you're looking at that very slow traffic, and do not be surprised if this continues to build toward 180th and beyond with more vehicles heading into this area. So that's our biggest problem spot. We've also got a few areas, JFK as you get around Q or so, and then on I-80 either direction of Giles. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. It's all about the chilly air this morning and the chilly air we're going to have for the next several mornings. You can see some clouds to the northeast. That's where they'll likely stay most of the day. 49 degrees with a dew point of 33. So the air's dry, but the wind is helping to keep the temperature from crashing too much this morning. Otherwise, we would fall quite a bit. And you can see many of us in the mid-40s to start off the day today, but holding up a little bit in a few spots because of the wind. And boy, the wind is going to be an issue today. Feels like temperatures 30s and 40s right now. Yeah, you got some wind chills in the 30s this morning. Current wind speeds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Some of the gusts will keep going up today. Notice we get towards about 10, 11 o'clock. We're talking gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour today. Blustery, probably going to knock a lot of leaves off the trees today, and only a high of 59 later on this afternoon. Aaron?
Omaha City Council will vote a homelessness ordinance today. If passed, the proposed ordinance would allow or outlaw homeless encampments on public properties. Mayor John Ewing has threatened to veto the ordinance if it passes.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.